We're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Changing the Lost Smoky Mountain Wilds. I am William Shawnee, and I am your storyteller for this Changeling Second Edition Chronicle. And joining me today, we have Julia.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm playing Calliope Danielle Scott, also known as Kaleidoscope, also known as Cassandra Scott. And I'm here.
And Katie.
Hi, my name is Katie. I am playing Jo Arbor. She is an elemental notary.
And I'm not here? Where is anybody? Who knows? And Drevian?
I'm Drevian. I'm playing Frisian, the Darkling Hunterheart.
And Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I am playing Jax Montgomery. Stage name Marlene Dubois. Ferris Changeling.
And as always, Black Lives Matter, trans rights, human rights, eat the rich, happy wrath.
Yep. Pride Month is done. Now we are on to Gay Wrath.
Yay!
And farewell, Twitter. I guess it's been a long ride.
We will see. I'm still not convinced it's going to die because there are just enough people there to tell Elon Moron to do smart things.
I mean, the way I see it is just a bunch of people saying, you know what, I'm not going to get on the Titanic.
Or the sub that's going to head for the Titanic.
I was going to say, we just did that last month. Then again, people's memories may not be that long anymore.
I'm gonna have to. I saw this, and apparently this was a real Subway sandwich shop sign in Effingham County, Georgia. No. Did you see this?
I haven't seen it, but I have an idea
but I
where
can
this is
see
going.
where this is going.
It says our subs don't implode.
Oh no!
Oh, the perfectly timed shade.
Oh my god.
Effingham is so fucking far away, but if it were closer, I would 100%
go there for a
like
sub.
Subway. I don't even like Subway all that much. But it's like, God, my business.
Oh. That's glorious.
Beautiful.
Isn't that amazing?
Oh, spectacular. So, when last we left our motley, the group of them had an interesting day. Some fun conversations, some gathering of clothing, going shopping, getting to know each other, getting ready for date night. Then the group split up into two groups. I should say two groups. It was one group and one individual. As Calliope made her way to meet with her estranged, still technically significant other, at least still technically married, and sort of get a conversation to realize who both of them are and what their newfound returned relationship might look like. Meanwhile, the rest of the group adjourned to a nearby IHOP to just sort of have conversation and prepare for the rest of the evening and be there in case Calliope needs backup. When Jo was suddenly struck by the music choice of the old-timey jukebox and the old-timey styled IHOP. When Kiss from a Rose began to play. Having a rush of emotions and memory, Jo basically stopped responding for the duration of the song. And then had a strong catharsis upon the song's ending. And we pick up with the IHOP group as the night wears on. The group of you have thus far not heard like a warning signal or anything from Calliope. Is there any conversation that you're having over the course of the evening, or are you just getting food and sitting and waiting?
I feel like because we didn't really react to what happened before, did we?
You had like the slightest conversation about it.
Did we?
It's mostly Joe having an emotional breakdown.
That's right.
And a lot of feelings.
And then you asked about what happened, and Joe explained a little bit.
Right. Okay. Sweetie, what do you want to do?
I mean, I guess I better eat something because if not, I'm going to seek out that song and never leave that feeling again.
Well, in that case, you sit your ass right there and you eat.
I was fully expecting I want to steal that damn record. So.
Yep.
The
awkwardness.
It's an awkward
Somebody
silence.
please talk about anything.
Awkward silence.
Please.
4 hours of awkward silence and
Presley, how long does the awkward silence stretch on for?
Probably not long. Rizzy, darling, you have any plans yet? Coalesced in your head?
I got a number to a doctor. I need some way to get a hold of the doctor.
You call those phones. Who's this doctor?
And Frisian pulls out the card that he was given.
He's Dr. Croak, right?
I believe I believe it was Dr. Croak was the name that I had given
today. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're going to try and get your vaccinations and such. Is one we're okay with? Like us as I don't know, people? Like what? Let's just use people. That'll suffice.
Where'd you get the name from?
Billy Gruff over in the Commons.
Well, assumedly, then it would probably be fine.
Yeah, I know Billy. Though that's a really strange name for a doctor.
Is it?
Well, usually when somebody croaks, they die.
Aren't you? Haven't you also interacted with Dr. Khan?
Doctor who?
I remember you. I feel like you at least have shared one of the insanely named doctors that Austin and Holly have also gone to.
Oh, Dr. Van Riper?
Dr. Van Ripper, yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
for some reason that name just makes me think of Helsing.
All right, so you're gonna make sure you're disease free. Probably a fair point.
Might ask for a more immediate concerns. We've got the clothes and we're eating now. Once we reconvene, do we have a place to sleep?
First,
my
place points.
My place, yes. I have a place. It is in Williamsburg.
Okay.
We have room. I might have to clear out a little bit of space, but that's not going to be difficult.
I don't need much.
No, that's absolutely fair. You just haven't seen the space yet. You'll understand what I mean.
As long as it's a place to rest my head.
I'll just have to throw stuff in some closets. It'll be fine. All right.
Is there a reason why they don't serve liquor at an IHOP, or is that just occupational hazard?
Equal parts of probably family restaurant and why tempt the gods?
Because they're trying not to be a Waffle House.
I mean, that was pretty much.
They don't have it there either. People bring it in.
I would assume it's something about trying to appeal to a family dynamic.
I would think that would bring more parents in here, but okay. Sorry, I'm looking for all kinds of shortcuts to not feeling anything, and that's not a good way to deal with things. So don't mind me.
I mean, it is a perfectly serviceable short-term bandage. But perhaps not best in the long run.
No, I knew a few too many of those in my family. I don't really think that's something I need to
That's fair.
Self-medicate.
So, do you have a long-term goal yet? Like, I know we're all just kind of settling in right now. But
I want to know what happened to my husband.
Okay.
I want to know if he's still alive.
That is fair. That shouldn't be too difficult.
Some way or another.
Do you know his name?
Let me move on.
Get you.
What?
I made a one way or another joke with the way you.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Yes, I know his name.
Apparently, it's very easy to find people now once you have that sort of information. So that should not be difficult. I guess the next question then, let's say you do find him. Let's say he is alive. What then?
I don't know how that works.
I don't think any of us do. Any of us here. But
I mean, isn't that what Calliope's trying to figure out right now?
I suppose.
I mean, I'd like to say no. On the one hand, I would like to make something work. On the other hand, I feel like I've already caused enough trouble with him and his family. And maybe this is just a clue that I should walk away.
I feel like there might be some context we're missing here.
Context.
Mm-hmm.
Such as?
What do you mean by caused enough trouble?
Well, I told you how we had to elope, right?
You probably did, but Jeremy does not remember that because that was a whole 7 days ago.
No, we
But yeah, you did.
he's old money. I'm not.
Is that the only...
He never cared. He never cared. He was never particularly close to his family to begin with, but I could tell every once in a while that there was a distance he regretted.
Mm-hmm.
And as fun as romance stories are, a person needs more than one kind of love to survive.
Do you now?
I think so.
I don't know that that's true.
My opinion.
And that's fair enough.
What I'm saying is, I don't know that one person can be everything to somebody else. I'd like to believe that. But
Sweetie, I don't know about the specifics between your gentleman and you. Beyond what you said, obviously, but as far as family expectations, shall we say? Fuck 'em.
that's what he always said.
Sounds like I might get along with this person. But I say we start with the one step and then we see from there.
I mean, I guess it's only fair to give him a chance to, if he is alive,
Mm-hmm.
to give him a chance instead of making up his mind for him.
Absolutely.
And if the answer is no, well, then it's, at least I know, I guess.
Then that is the answer is no, the answer is no, but that's then the worst has already happened.
You're right.
Like, take it from me. What you probably don't want to do is let pain and fear pull you away from people. I've done too much of that in my life, so if I can keep you from doing it, I'm gonna.
I appreciate that. Don't want to be a burden, but I appreciate that.
You are absolutely not being a burden. And that's the last we will talk of that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I think that serves as the perfect signal for a scene transition.
Yep.
Please.
As the camera slides over to, again, one of the rare golden corrals that still exists. I miss Golden Corral. It was a very good place.
Yeah.
The view pans to a pair of individuals sitting at a private table in the far corner of the restaurant. Deep in conversation. As Calliope, you've just sort of been asking questions back and forth, trying to rediscover who this person sitting across from you is. You learn that Tyr, among other things, is, aside from being a person who is fond of literature and the arts, is also an enormous nerd, as you might expect, considering the chosen name. But the aside from talking various passions about forms of media that they've really enjoyed, board games, video games, games of any kind, books, media, shows, movies, you've sort of been learning back and forth about what preferences you used to have and sort of how they matched up. You're not certain how much of you has changed and how much of you is exactly the same based on what he understands of you. But the conversation has been going for a bit. And it is roughly at this point that Tyr's phone goes off again. He sort of flips it over, looks at it for a second. You idiots. 1 second. And he sort of pulls the phone up and starts typing on it.
Everything good?
Yeah, I just need to tell people to not get ahead of themselves.
Sounds like
Someone
the best I
texting,
could have
"Hey."
used.
Someone texting, "Hey, I found these 3 changelings sitting around a table in an IHOP. Permission to fire?"
My grenade hand is getting itchy.
Just play that one song again. I think I could take them out.
Calliope will grab her phone and just open the web browser. Type in the name Cassandra Scott.
While he's typing, you pull that up and you see the first thing you see is an obituary for Cassandra Scott. Supposedly lost her life in some form of industrial accident at a museum. The current report is that a piece of environmental architecture that had been formed into some extravagant art was not structurally stable and collapsed on the form of Miss Cassandra Scott taking her life.
That would have been merciful. She will continue to She pause, and then we'll open images.
You find a woman staring back at you that very much looks like the form of you that you see in the mirror when it overlays itself over your mien. It looks slightly younger. Not a lot, but there are fewer lines from what feels like an eternity of stress.
Is he still distracted with his phone, or has he put his down yet?
He looks like he's probably finishing up whatever he's messaging.
She'll just very quietly set her phone screen side down.
Sorry, there's just a vampire has been making its presence known and needs to not be doing things that are going to get people hurt.
What exactly is the criteria for termination?
You don't need to worry. And generally, it's just posing a clear and present danger to the people around. There are plenty of supernatural beings who don't start none, won't be none in a lot of ways. There are plenty of supernatural beings who don't cause any trouble, and some of them go out of the way to be helpful. A few of the werewolves that I've encountered have been more friendly than most, even if they are always on a hair trigger. Really, the only people who are generally assumed to be dangerous before interaction are primarily vampires. At least the ones that I've encountered in the area. And werewolves are always dangerous, but they have some kind of protector thing going on. They seem to think they're some kind of supernatural knights in service of nature. Who knows?
Interesting. So tell me, does silver actually work?
Oh yeah, it's one of the only things that works on werewolves.
I will take questions I didn't think I would be asking for 1,000, Alex.
I mean, enough massed firepower can bring down a werewolf, but you'd have a much easier time just using some silver. Like, if it's not a few silver bullets, it better be a big ass bomb. Sorry, that sounds really callous.
No. I can, in a weird way, see where you're coming from, but I don't know. Today's just been a lot. What?
Oh, we lost Shawnee.
And we lost Shawnee.
Uh-oh. This is awkward.
Gives me plenty of time to think of the question that she was going to ask.
This is true. Hi, people. How are you?
And Katie, you're muted.
I know.
Okay.
My dog was barking. I have 4 characters in search of an Arthur.
Johnny had a power flip.
Yeah, I noticed that their like Aurora Borealis stopped moving. I was like, either there's a glitch or they're just like really, really still. But
I was tempted to have Frisian do something in that scene.
in what scene?
In the scene at IHOP.
At IHOP. What were you planning to do?
He was going to like he basically he was just like thinking about like family and just get more and more agitated, and eventually just like excuse himself. But I decided and by decided I mean I rolled dice that his
Right.
resolve held up.
Fair enough. Well, while we waited, I don't know. I could tell an incredibly, frankly, kind of disgusting joke that I heard that almost literally killed me.
Oh no!
Wait, literally?
Yeah.
Not figuratively.
You know what I mean. Literally, not. I said almost. Like I know I'm normally the person who's like who's like words mean something, but they have redefined literally in the dictionary at this point to mean not literally.
Did they really?
So, yeah.
That's bullshit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I understand why, but at the same time,
right? Infuriating.
So what's the joke?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna preface this. Are you sure?
Well, there's been way too much
really
build-up.
fucking bad.
Okay.
Will it get us kicked off Twitch?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it won't. The implications are saved by the storyteller.
Oh no! Come on.
I mean, I can still tell if you want. I'm just saying it's real gross.
Oh.
Sorry about that. The storm decided it had issues with our power.
No worries.
Yeah, I noticed the Aurora Borealis stopped moving. Like that's the only way I knew that something was wrong.
What was the last thing I said that came through?
You were waiting on fuck.
Calliope was going to ask a question.
Calliope was going to ask a question.
Did I finish saying I'm sorry? That sounds really callous.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That may have been the last thing.
That was the last thing I said before the power went out. So
I think so.
Which Calliope says, no, in a weak way. I kind of get it. You go ahead.
No, please.
She'll just grab her phone and go back to the obituary and set it in front of him. I know I didn't have a hand in disappearing on my own. But I want to apologize for putting you through that. I can't imagine what you felt.
Yeah. Well. In the moment, most of what I felt was pure blinding rage.
And that doesn't worry you at all?
I mean, a little bit, but it wasn't at you, it was at the thing that grabbed you and the thing that it had left in your place.
I've been told that they look just like the person.
Yeah, it was unsettling. But I knew it was wrong because I had seen it be made, I guess, on the spot. And the instant I knew that it was wrong, I could see the cracks in the facade. They're not perfect. I mean, they wouldn't be, considering the thing grabbing you probably didn't know you from Adam before it decided it was going to take you for a toy.
And she will like visibly shudder.
I'm sorry. That probably dug
No.
up painful memories.
If that's the worst of it that I feel today, then I will count this as a good day. I will. It will take time for me to get any sort of semblance of normal. Which this might be a really weird question, but do you have any recordings or video of me before I was taken?
Yeah, I have a few videos that we had. The we made a habit of bothering each other and recording the video.
And she will give her first genuine smile of the evening. The accent.
It drifts a bit, I've noticed.
Yeah, just a lot because I spent 4 years not being able to talk, and
I'm so sorry.
It's fine. I know everything happened to me, and I know everything bad is centered around me, but I need you, and I'm going to tell you this every time we meet, okay? She'll just reach across the table and take both of his hands in hers. You can't keep blaming yourself for what happened to me. Because everything you told me, everything I've seen, I know what you're doing, and it's gonna eat you alive, and it's gonna take the babies away from you. So I'm not gonna tell you stop doing, and she'll let go. I'm not gonna tell you stop doing your night job or anything like that.
I mean, at this point, it's as much for the children as it is for anything else. Because I wouldn't be able to sleep at night knowing that that could happen to either of them.
You. I have a sentence in my head that I want to say, but I'm.
I'll hold it back on my account.
Just me being in your life probably increases the chances that something bad will happen to them.
Not if I'm around.
You're as stubborn as ever. And she will like sit straight up and blink.
Not everything's gone, it sounds like.
Like I said, bits and pieces, and she'll pick up her phone and send a text message to Joe really quickly. And it just says, how do the three of you feel about a field trip tomorrow?
And then Joe just texts back, I'll ask. And to the other two, I said, I got a text from Calliope. She asked if we want to go on a field trip tomorrow.
Where's this field trip to?
That would be a valid question, wouldn't it? Where she's got a text back. Where
Details are important.
You get the text back, where to?
The hedge, question mark.
Oh my. She says the hedge.
Mm-hmm. Tell her we can talk about it when we get back together. Because I'm gonna need a little bit more than that before I'm just like, yes, let's just hop back right over across the pond. Into the goddamn lion's den.
No, I'm with you. Joe will text back. We want to talk about it further. We'll talk later tonight.
Thumbs up emoji, heart emoji, send. So how about that?
Right?
I feel like I have 1,000 questions and I don't know any of them.
All right. Feel free to ask them as they come.
You said I was an author?
Yeah. Had a couple of like self-published short novels.
Maybe I should try getting back to that. Shouting about how late is it at this point?
It's getting into the evening. It's probably like 10 or 11. You actually made quite a bit of money. Between the two of us, we were pretty well off, all things considered. I wouldn't call us like rich, but we certainly weren't having to worry about most things.
Tell me about the kids.
Well, Modi is a little adventurer. He's always running around trying to find something to get into or something to throw. It's been a lot of work trying to get him to stop tossing anything and everything whenever he has a temper tantrum, and getting him to, express why he's upset rather than just throw things. But been making progress on that. Penthesilea, she seems really quiet and reserved, but I think she's honestly more dangerous than her brother is when this mood strikes her. She's clever, I'll say, more than Modi in a lot of ways. When I'm dealing with whatever Modi is doing up front and emotionally, I look over my shoulder and I see that Penthesilea has managed to sneak her way into something using the distraction. So I've just learned to look behind me every time I see something in front of me with the two of them.
As you had your hands full, I can understand.
As much as I have, they're both a gift. They remind me of you in a lot of ways.
How so?
Well, aside from being a handful, he says with a smirk. And aside from both of them having either your eyes, your hair, something about you, they both have this insatiable desire to explore and learn that was part of why I fell in love with you initially. And it's in the little things that they'll do or get up to. I keep seeing you. Part of what kept me going for 4 years. I knew I couldn't let them down. Class, but when he decides he's going to get in a fight, he picks on the biggest person in the room and usually comes out on top. Usually because he's not just tough, he's also clever.
And I'm going to guess he's got your mouth.
Got both of our mouths.
Next time he goes on a temper tantrum, cover his ears.
Keep that in mind.
I don't know if you remember, but when he was really little, every time he'd start fussing too much, I'd put my hands over his ears and quiet up the trick.
Remember that.
It's like I have a bunch of destinations, a bunch of starting points in my head.
Nothing to link them together.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you'll figure it out over time.
So hopefully tomorrow will yield some results and I get something else.
Planning something.
In a sense, you could say. Something a little stupid, a little dangerous.
Need a hand?
How how active was I when I was on this side before?
I mean, we weren't like athletes or anything, but we like to get out, go for a run, go climbing occasionally. The mountains are literally right over there, so a hike was fairly common.
Not on this run. Maybe the next one.
Fair enough. Let me know if you need anything. And I mean anything. Part of the part of the perks of the situation is I have supply lines that are unusual for most people.
Unless you can get my memory back, then I don't really.
He sort of pauses as if he's thinking for a second. I know a goblin.
Yeah. That's dangerous.
Yeah, so every changeling I've ever spoken to has told me.
Might be like, oh, what is it I used to tell you? It might be time to listen for a change. Maybe just a little bit.
I'll admit, I don't know as much about changelings as I probably should, considering I've only made one trip into that barrier realm.
The hedge.
Yeah. Only been there once. Though, to be fair, having been there once is more than most hunters can say.
What did you find?
It was like a fucking drug trip. Be easier to say what I didn't find. But I mean, one of the people I was running with is more like scientifically minded than I am, and they sort of described it as being a psychoactive, inherently hostile environment. It reacts to the way you're feeling and what you're thinking, but it's not necessarily friendly. You can kind of make it friendly, at least according to the changelings I've talked to, but it's always dangerous.
Good to know. Good to know. It's getting late.
Yeah. It's been good talking to you.
I want to do this again, and if this were not normal circumstances, I'd probably ask for a ride home. But I got some thinking to do.
I understand. You have my number, so call me or text me whenever you want to do this again.
And she will walk to the front with him.
Yeah. He'll pay for the table and the food. Start to head out.
She will grab his wrist. And she will just step into his frame and kiss his cheek.
He seems a little surprised by it, but there's a warm smile afterward. And he leans forward to do the same for you.
And she will hook them on the nose. Let me know when you made it home safely.
All right. I got to get to.
She will turn and walk around the corner of the building and then start getting an Uber to the IHOP.
You don't even need to get an Uber. It's right down the road. It's right down the road.
Okay. Yeah, she will just begin walking.
It'd be funny if you did, though.
The Uber driver's really like
leans out the window. You know it's right there, right?
right there.
Like, wait there 10 minutes. We're gonna drive up, pull in. They pull out. They go literally right next door and.
That'll be $50.
So she will head to the IHOP.
As you walk off, you see and you look over your shoulder, you see Tyr walk over to what appears to be a large black, like, it's a truck, but it has the bed of the back covered. And he sort of pulls down the back door and pulls out a long black case, closes it, and walks off in the opposite direction.
Something tells me I'm getting a text way later tonight. Onward to IHOP.
Yep.
So the group of you are still sitting and having slightly awkward conversation when Calliope walks in.
She will do the awkward thing of I'm here to.
Yeah.
And Joe just waved her hand like.
Well, I do not see tears, and I do not see glowing. So, I'm gonna assume it was middle of the road, leaning one way or the other.
It was nice. I don't. Being told that, you're married, you're in love, you had kids, all this, and then I don't remember a damn thing. I don't remember any of it. That's a lie. I remember some bits and pieces. And I have flashes, but I told him it was basically if you I mean, I have several starting points, but I don't have the paths to get to the end points for my memories.
I see.
Would like to remind Jeremy that Marlena saw a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Things are interesting to say the least. So what all have you been up to?
Oh, the usual. Coffee, pancakes,
Trauma.
emotional breakdowns.
So
More coffee.
your typical IHOP experience then.
Yes, basically.
Pretty much.
So, what's this? And to be, I'm taking a look around, make sure that there aren't like we're not at a table surrounded by like a bunch of people at nearby tables.
No, you presumably intentionally picked one of the tables that is
All right.
relatively empty.
So what's this about a trip into?
Just the hedge, not full blown hell.
No, if we were going back, if you were suggesting a trip back to Arcadia, I would be currently tying you down, and not in the fun way.
Brizian looks at Marlena confused.
Calliope has gone several shades of pink.
Joe's just like, I'll show you on the internet later.
Oh, I think it's a little early for that for Frisian. Let's break him in slowly.
I said later.
Didn't say how later.
Listen, I just managed to say break him in slowly without further innuendo. So,
what do you want, a medal?
Yes.
Moving on. Why? Oh, why in the name of everything that's holy and unholy would we be going back there?
Well, I talked to Briar Rose earlier today, and there's something called an icon. Apparently, all of us leave them in the hedge.
Right.
They're the memories and the things that the thorns scrape away from us.
Let's see.
Part of me worries that interacting with him and my kids isn't gonna be enough. Feel like there's too much gone.
Do you want to go in? You want to find your memories?
That is the plan, but I know how those often go awry.
And
you know how big the hedge is? That could take.
Some people spend their entire lives delving for them. I know.
What's that? I couldn't hear you.
Some people spend their entire lives delving for them. I know.
I'm.
I mean,
Well, I swear to God.
If you all don't want to go, then I'm not going to make any of you.
Well, here's the thing. We kind of sort of made this promise. So we can't just really let you go and do anything stupid.
This is where we go back to my rope idea. But I don't know. I am not exactly 100% opposed to this notion. I just think maybe tomorrow is a bit soon.
No, that's fair. I might be jumping the gun just a little bit.
Like I understand, and I'm very happy that you have found connections to your past, and that there is the potential for more of them to be discovered. Joe still needs to find ours. We need to figure out exactly what, if there's anything even to be up at this point. The Frisian. I would like to check on my family.
I was about to say, don't leave yourself out of this journey of discovery.
No, I have plans. Don't you get me wrong. I just need to use this internet to locate people, and I don't think that should be too terribly difficult. Because I have a feeling easiest person I'm going to have to find is probably not living in the same place that they were when I was last here.
That's odd to say.
The last place they were living was where they were and I was when I got snagged. And so, I mean, unless my memory drastically fails me, they're probably smart enough to say maybe I don't live in the place where a keeper knows where I am. It's my hope, anyway. They were young and dumb, but not that dumb. It was just the young part. But yes, that's the trip I will need to discern. But we also, Joe had an experience.
She will turn her full attention to Joe.
That's a kind way of putting it. Thank you, Marlena. There was a song on the jukebox, and it felt like time stopped. It's the only way I can explain it. From the first note to the very last. I was physically here, but I was somewhere else. I felt like I was with him again. And all I wanted to do when it was over was just to put it on repeat and live there forever, because it's so much nicer to live in that moment than it is to come out of it.
Calliope is going to grab Joe's hand and give it a soft squeeze.
I don't know what's scarier. Looking for him or leaving it alone. But as I said to Marlena, I don't get to make that choice for him if he's still alive.
The only person you can make the choice for is you.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's something you feel you need to do, then that's what we're going to do. And if you think that it's too much, then none of us is going to push you.
I think it's the only way I can move on. Or move forward, not necessarily move on. Move forward.
And that's what we'll do.
I'm sorry, this is very close to what you're going through, and I don't mean to make it.
Sweetie, look at me. We're all our own individual people. And even though our struggles may be similar, it doesn't diminish what you're going through, okay? Your emotions are real. Your reactions are valid. Don't bottle it up. You're allowed to let it out.
The crack of thunder outside. Sounds like a storm begins to roll in.
We
Also, we do have to get Frizzy his shots.
Marlena, he's not a fucking animal.
No, obviously not.
Well, it just sound like what you do when you guys.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
When you say Frisian's not an animal, Frisian kind of like tugs at the fur on his shoulder.
You are correct. He is not. And when I say it like that, it's almost like it is a way to convey information, but also break the tension of an awkward moment.
You just want me to stop crying.
Don't worry, I told my spouse the same thing when we had to take the youngins to get their vaccinations.
See?
What was that?
I said,
need their shots.
Yeah, don't judge her too harshly. That's what I told my spouse when we had to go get the youngins their vaccinations. Is we gotta go get them shots.
Well, I mean, I don't know a lot about kids, but from what I've seen, they're not that different from small animals.
I was about to say the line between puppy and baby is a diaper, and that's about it.
Let me tell you, the difference isn't that much higher when you hit your when you have not yet surpassed your early 20s. Only vaguely.
Bluff.
You are delightful.
Frisian is only in his own early 20s.
At least as far as his like physical age is.
Yeah.
As is Joe. As is Joe.
All right, well, let's get out of here.
Please.
We can head back and we can... Joe, where have you been staying? Do you have anything you need to have picked up? Belongings? bits of clothing,
It's
secret briefcase with $1 million in it.
I wish. No, when I came over, I had, and she just gestures to what she's.
Yes, of course.
That's. If there's more somewhere else from a previous life, I don't know, but what I have is what you see.
All right. Unless we have any other plans tonight. What time is it at this point?
About 11-ish.
PM or AM? Because I don't
PM.
remember when we start. Oh, dear God.
PM?
11 p.m. It is late in the evening.
That's right. I think we ought to get to where home is.
Calliope went for an evening date after kids were in bed and was there for a couple of hours.
I am amused. Golden Corral closes at 9, and this IHOP closes at 10.
Yeah, you've been pushing the line.
Yeah, and guess what?
Like the IHOP employees are just like occasionally amble about, just looking at us, just waiting for us to leave finally.
They don't get paid enough to care.
The passive aggressive flip to close sign when we leave.
All right. Well, one of you is gonna have to hand. I still not have that. Not quite taxi calling service
Well,
on
we'll
my
get an
phone.
Uber.
I mean, otherwise we can always steal and hotwire a car, but it's been a long time since I've done that.
Did that once as a teenager.
You know how to hotwire a car?
You don't?
No.
I can't say I do.
I mean, it wasn't that hard. There's not that much going on.
It has been a very long time, so I may not be as proficient
Well, I
as
just
I
think that's
used to
really
be.
cool because that's like what you see in the movies and shit.
Oh, it is not at all like that. It's actually somewhat like that. It's just not as
Easy.
compressed, shall we say.
Makes sense.
No, I have not done, even before I got snagged, I had not done it in years. Because I had a car. I didn't need to take someone else.
Do we need to go get your car?
I will get one eventually once we figure everything out. I don't know. It's entirely possible that my car is still sitting, is still with Violet somewhere, but I would think that would seem unlikely. It wasn't very good at the time.
And also, maybe your license is expired?
You're not wrong.
I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to be practical.
I don't think that I will be renewing my license anytime soon.
I mean, I don't see that.
I don't think it was that much of a problem as long as the cops didn't bother you.
Exactly that. But if I go in there and say, "Hey, I would like my license has been expired for the last 2 decades. I would like to renew it." Why, yes, I am as old as I am, and that is all the furthest I will say on that. They may have some questions.
That's
some beyond Vince McMahon level fountain of youth.
Right?
I mean, in this day and age, if you got public transportation or Uber, you don't really need a car anyway. I didn't really have one. I just walked, basically. We used James's car if we had to go somewhere.
Public transportation is not necessarily the, how shall we put this, most viable for someone with my fashion sense.
I understand.
This Uber thing does seem rather nice, but again, you never know.
Just reinvented the taxi service.
Yep.
Put it in the hands of people who are not specifically hired for that as a job. But
yeah, exactly. What if we deregulated the taxi industry? What could possibly go wrong?
Anyway, so we're getting an Uber.
Yep. Yep, and we are heading back to my home that is a warehouse in Williamsburg.
Y'all got like a extra toothbrush or something, or I mean, that's
probably.
That's not a deal breaker or anything.
I believe I do.
Do you prefer Crest or Colgate?
I don't care.
Apparently, you can order toothbrushes on the internet and get them quickly.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
It's a thing.
She's just got the money. I don't.
Fair. I'm just gonna sit here and be confused by that for a bit.
She's gonna like
ride in the car.
Clive is gonna like stop what she's doing and then open the Freehold banking app and just check the transactions to see how much she's getting deposited and when and how often.
You are getting regular deposits of a absurdly large amount of money for someone who actively currently does not have actual job.
Just gonna close that app and then go back to DoorDash without saying anything.
But having 4 dots of resources and being a changeling gets you. You think the weird gives a shit about where the money comes from?
No.
They induced inflation.
Changelings are ruining the economy.
Damn it, changelings.
All I could think of was like a boomer hunter.
These damn millennial changelings. Killing the industry.
They just make money appear out of thin air. They're ruining the economy.
So we get back to Williamsburg, and presumably a few minutes later shows up another guy with some toothbrushes.
Pretty much.
It's just like
toothbrushes and toothpaste.
Yeah, just like your staple like hygiene stuff.
Yeah.
And then like a few bottles of vodka.
But like, I'm guessing like the airline travel like.
Oh yeah.
Kits. Yeah.
Couple bottles of vodka, some orange juice.
Hey, that's real nice of you. Thank you.
It's fine.
So welcome to Casa de Bois.
So what is I have not been here. So what?
So it is basically it is kind of a warehouse space
Mhm.
that has been taken over. It's fairly cluttered. There are like suitcases and boxes and stuff freaking everywhere. There's sort of a main front room
Mhm.
that has a hide a bed, um, uh, basic living. I mean, comfortable living arrangements. There are a couple of rooms there. There's Dex Merlina has their own bedroom. There is a workspace that is just full of dragon, various stages of completion, which is emphasized by there's just stuff not like hanging around like disorganized, but like uh um just wigs and on stands in various spots.
The pile
Because
system.
up until a day ago / 25 years and a day ago, this was his own space, so or solo space. So he hasn't quite reorganized yet. The kitchen, so on and so it's all been sort of just organized out of what is, and I think I put a picture of the spot, like a Google Maps picture of the spot in D Slack. If I can find it.
I remember you posting it.
Yeah. But yeah. So is that 21 days ago according to this. Anyways, you feel free to find yourself a set yourself up a space, clear out what you need. I do not have another bed.
You got some.
We can deal with that, and I've got blankets and pillows and the like. I'm not entirely unused to having visitors.
I mean, give me some blankets and a pillow. I can sleep in the bathtub if you want me to.
You do not have to sleep in the bathtub. You find a spot anywhere. Or you can fight these two to figure out which two of you are taking the hide of bed, and then the third person does whatever third person does.
I mean, last night Calliope had the hide a bed.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a? And I am all of a sudden blanking on what this is called, but like a window seat or an alcove or just like a bay window.
Probably not, to be honest.
Okay.
Because I feel like that's something that would be hard to refashion in a warehouse.
In a warehouse. Okay.
Like there are probably some windows, but like not like real.
Not the kind of windows you can sit up on and then lean dramatically.
Okay,
not residential windows.
Let me ask: are there any pallets?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so what Joe is gonna do? She's gonna find a corner. She's gonna just kind of like put her shopping bags down, and she's gonna find a pallet that's about the size of a twin size bed. She's gonna shove it in the corner. She's gonna get some blankets and a few of the thicker blankets and lay them down on the pallet.
Mm-hmm.
Get a couple of pillows, get a couple more blankets to go on top, and just make herself a little makeshift bed.
Cool.
Just out of the way, like still within like shouting distance and like visual distance of everybody else, but like also her little space in the corner.
Right.
Oh.
Makes sense.
Yep. That's what she does.
Mm-hmm. So, are you all just getting a night's rest?
Considering that I did not get a night's rest last time, yes.
Yes.
Calliope's Calliope is going to grab that sword and shield and go outside and practice.
I will note that it is raining outside.
Oh yeah, she probably won't do it too long. She just wants to get a feel for it.
Yeah. The hold of it feels right for one reason or another. It feels natural the way that you grip it and the way that you can swing it without having to. You don't feel the immediate exhaustion that someone who has never swung a sword before feels.
Should probably do about half hour of that, then come back in completely drenched.
It's about that point that your phone goes off with a text.
Check the phone.
It's just a picture of Tears, Tears like shoulders and face, completely drenched in rain. The sort of mohawked braided ponytail is sort of like matted against the side of their face. The beard is completely flat from the rain, and it's just looking very tired, but also with a smile. Got home safe.
Should just send back a heart emoji. And then go change clothes, take very warm shower, very quick warm shower, and then collapse into whatever space she's allowed.
So, as you all get a night's rest, that is where we will take our break.
Dope.
Okay.
Remember, we take our break. You take your. We take our break. You take your break. So sit up, stretch your legs. Go get a drink. Do whatever you need to do. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
we're back.
Welcome back, everybody. So, each of you gets a night of rest.
Yep.
Taunted by fitful dreams of fleeting memories and the unspoken fears that linger in your mind. Everything swirling ahead of you as you consider what lays before you, and your mind lays every path out as if it were its own odyssey. It's not the most restful of sleep, but you do sleep.
I was about to say, well, I guess a good night's sleep is too much to ask for in this game.
And you awake the next morning. So,
Yep.
What's on the menu? Or who, as the case may be.
All right. So, presume you need to, again, get your shots. Got something. Go ahead.
I have the number for the doctor, so we can give him a call sometime.
Okay.
You want to use my phone? You want me to call for you?
If you'd like to. I don't have a phone, otherwise
I don't
myself.
mind.
All right.
We're gonna have to fix that and get you a phone. It's important to have in case we get split up for some reason or another.
That is a good point.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a doesn't have to be anything not too terribly complicated.
No. I saw some in the convenience store when I went down there the other night. So they don't look too expensive. We can pick one of those up. Oh yeah. We've got that. Joe, what do you need to do today?
Finish breakfast.
I mean, that is, you should probably do that by the end of the day, yes.
Do I have to say it?
I mean, I have no idea what you're talking about. So yes, probably it would be a good idea to vocalize your plans.
Well, I don't really have anything else to do except
listen to a single on repeat. No, that's not an option.
That's not what I was going to say. Though that would be something else to do, but since you've already ixnayed that idea, then I'm going to skip right over that.
Excellent. We understand ourselves then.
I guess I can help Frizzy get his shots, and the only other thing I could do would be looking for my husband, but
I understand the internet should be good for that since we do have a name. Do you remember things like DOB?
I remember everything.
Well, there you go.
I had to. He was terrible with dates.
This should not be difficult then. And then we go from there, depending.
I've heard that statement before from Katie.
I mean, am I lying?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
And Clappy, other than hedge diving.
Oh,
which you're not allowed to do by yourself.
Noticeably, Calliope is not inside.
Where did that girl go?
Early
Frisian
morning
would have been up. Frisian would have been up early and looking out the window. So there's a decent chance that if Calliope left, then Frisian probably would have seen.
Oh no, she's been out in the yard
Okay.
practicing sword stances and techniques.
Frisian from the window, like, yeah, Calliope is just out here.
Frisian, have you been standing there all night again?
Not all night.
How much of the night?
I've only been standing here probably shortly before dawn.
That is acceptable.
About 4 hours.
No, let me change that. That's weird, but baby steps.
Well, it's progress, isn't it?
It's baby steps.
What
and
was
we
he
will
doing
accept
before, like
baby steps.
12?
I'm not entirely certain. I am pretty certain that Frisian did not sleep the night before. I know this because I did not sleep the night before. As long as we all got some, we are better than we were yesterday.
This is when Calliope comes in just completely drenched head to toe in sweat.
What about you? Did you get any sleep?
Sets down shield and sword.
I'm going to take that as a no.
I did, and then I didn't.
Thank you for clearing that up.
Probably about 6 hours.
6 hours is good. We accept 6 hours.
And Joe just go look over at Calliope and just go, you two?
Yeah. So before I hop into the shower, what exactly are we getting into today?
That's what we were in the process of figuring out.
Oh, fantastic. I didn't miss anything.
Getting Frisian his vaccinations.
Getting Frisian a phone.
Getting Frisian a phone. Yeah, Joe needs to find some information on what happened.
Hmm.
Do you have anything?
To pull out her phone, check to see if she has any messages.
Not immediately, but it is fairly early in the morning, and Tyr did get back relatively late.
I will have to answer that question at a later time. She will fire off a text message that says, "Is it a Tyr or a Bologna day?" Send. Put her phone down.
As long as you don't take any field trips by yourself, if you know what I mean. Okay with that.
I don't plan on walking up straight into the hedge without any friends, family. So
good. But let's start by somebody make a call for Frisian, or Frisian. You can do it. There is a landline here. You probably don't even know how to use that now that I think about it.
You get a text back, Calliope. It just says, "Well, either any days in either day, but this is how I'm heading out the door," and it's just a picture of them in full feminine attire, makeup on, black lipstick, tight biker jacket.
Frisian looks at the landline and comments, "The most I can remember of one of these, it had a crank on it."
Right, exactly. So For
Uh,
fuck's sake. What's the phone number?
I got
You
I
can-
got this. Well, don't if you do it for him, it's not going to be much of a lesson now, is it?
I'm okay with dialing the number. He will be communicating with the person.
Frisian, give him the number.
Frisian hands over the card.
Yep. Dee, 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 dee. There you go. Make your appointment.
Now talk.
Frisian like holds it up to his ear.
Other way around. You've got the mouthpiece up the air.
Okay.
You listen up here, you talk down here, and you don't have to talk loud.
And the phone picks up for a second, and you hear on the other line, "Hang on, just one moment." And then a slightly more distant voice you can sort of hear in the background of the phone call. Dr. Croak, you got someone on the special line. And a few minutes pass.
The great thing to yell in a doctor's office.
And a few minutes pass, and the phone gets handed to someone. Well, hello, this is Dr. Croak. How can I help you today?
Hello, my name's Frisian. I got your number from Loquacious from a guy named Loquacious.
From it was
it was Billy Gruff, not Loquacious.
Yeah. Yep. I reckon that makes sense. What can I do for you?
I was told you can help with getting updated vaccinations.
Yep. Yeah, sounds. You must be one of the fresh faces. Yes. If you and all your friends want to come by the office, we can get you all sorted for a regular medical checkup, make sure any necessary immunizations are applied, and get everything up to date, make sure that you're all in perfect health, and probably, since I suspect many of you might be a bit displaced, get you some new identification as well.
Okay, that'd be fantastic. Is any time better to do that?
Anytime that you're available, just swing on by, and he'll give you the address, and we'll be ready and waiting for you.
All right, that's wonderful. Thank you.
All right, looking forward to hearing from you.
Mm-hmm.
He'll hand the phone back. Y'all have a good day now, and the phone hangs up.
While that's going on, I immediately turn my attention to Joe and like, all right, I've been working with this internet on this phone, and I think I've got it figured out. So let's start finding you a man.
Excuse me? Oh, my man. Okay. No, I didn't hear. It says like let's start finding you a man. Wait a second.
Yo.
Not ready to move on.
After the phone call, Frisian like pulls the headset, like the phone away, and just like looking at it like.
You see the little hook on the side right there. Put it on the hook.
Puts it up.
Perfect.
There we go.
No, Joe, sweetie, I understand the quickest way to get over someone is an orgasm, but we are not at that stage yet.
That's a statement.
Tell me it's wrong.
You struck me dumb.
On that note, I'm gonna go take a shower.
You do that.
Leave some hot water?
Yes. I will be kind this time.
So yeah, we're gonna start Googling this person.
Husband? The name, the term is husband.
Yeah. No, that was me. That was
person.
Frisian.
Go on.
Frisian will make sure to write down the address on the card.
Yeah. So you Google James with the information that you've got available.
Yep.
So what you get, it doesn't look like a whole lot newsworthy has happened. You're not seeing any obituaries.
That's a good start.
You are, however, finding that. Did you have a last name for this individual, or is it just James?
Arbor.
James Arbor. You are, however, finding that James Arbor, of the Arbor family, which is well known in the area for having lots of money and thus having lots of influence, has been a bit of a recluse for the past little while. So, forget how long did you say it's actually been for you? Like,
not long at all.
Like a matter of months, I think you were saying,
months,
isn't it?
Yeah.
A few months. Yeah. Has definitely been a recluse for the past few months. The rest of the family hasn't really been seen in the public eye either lately. There's been no reports of them dying, and they haven't been seen. But they apparently have not been out in public as often as previous. Which you mostly find out through local tabloids because they don't seem to be like generally famous enough to be like regular newsworthy, but like local local area tabloids will keep looking at all the rich people in the area.
Yeah.
Well, that is a start. Sounds like he had some issues dealing with what may or may not have happened.
This is so strange. That's not like him or the family at all.
I mean, you said he was almost certainly or certainly there for the capturing experience.
No, he
was there. So I can imagine that would be a fairly traumatic experience in the best of situations. And it might be something that a family with a reputation might want to keep quiet.
That does sound more like them.
So I suppose is the well-off family? Is he perhaps is there a business for the family that he is in charge of?
He's the head of a couple charities. He runs the business operations of a couple family charities.
Okay. We can find the phone numbers for those charities unless that is something there. I don't know how to find stuff now necessarily, just the basic details. If we can find a way to get in contact.
I don't know
perhaps. Go ahead.
So I don't know if I mean, I didn't even think about this. I probably do have his number, but I probably think it was some cruel joke.
That's why you do not do the first contact. If we can come up with a logical reason for him to meet with somebody. What sort of charities was he involved in?
you know, resources for families with kids in special education.
Okay. That's harder for me to make up a story to potentially get in touch, but we can see what we can do.
There was also there was that one. There was the kids, the families, kids at the in special education. There was also well, you've heard of the Trevor Project. It's a similar.
We have a winner. All right.
It's a similar it's not called the same thing, but it's a similar thing. Those are the two he primarily works with and manages.
Let me see if yeah, close enough. Well, that's that. We have our connection that we can potentially touch bases with, because if he's working if he is the head, or legitimately the head of a organization devoted to helping queer youth, I know where to find those.
No, he's not just a figurehead.
He's actually involved.
He's actually involved.
Well, good.
He wouldn't put his name on something he didn't believe in.
Interesting. Fair enough. Oh, shit. Damn it all, hell, that means that I have to go make my connections then at some point, because my connections will be connection to your connections.
How so?
I have several, well, I had, I should say, several drag daughters. It's been a long time, but one of them I am reasonably certain, if they are still alive. Been 25 years, a lot could have happened. But I'm reasonably certain I can make contact with in a way that will not require me to explain too much. Or at least will not require that will not be revealing too much to somebody who may not already know if I do the explaining.
I understand.
And one thing about my family, I always tried to make sure that they were very connected to their community and gave back as much as possible. So it's conceivable that one of them may even have a direct connection to I'm sorry, it was James?
Yes.
James's charity. But we'll have to see.
That just sounds like a lot of work for you, honestly.
I mean, first of all, this is what I do. Second of all, it's also accomplishing some things I need to get done. So that's fine. We'll just have to see how it goes. Ms. Violet probably won't be if I can find her. She probably won't be up and around until later in the day. She was always sort of a late sleeper, wake up just in time for the shows. Also means we're gonna have to go to Knoxville. Because I'm the only person dumb enough to live where I live.
Out of game. How far away from Knoxville?
Not far.
Yeah, it's not a long drive.
Williamsburg to Knoxville on a drive was like...
I have very scant knowledge of Tennessee geography.
Same.
You are just a couple of highways away.
Yeah. I remember, I feel like by car it had been like 20 minutes, something like that. I maybe...
It's about 45 minutes.
About 45 minutes out. So yeah.
Depending on where in Knoxville you want to go, obviously, but like in the middle of Knoxville is about 45 minutes
Right.
from Williamsburg.
It's an easy enough trip.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So how we're getting a call back from your doctor, or we're figuring out a time?
Yes, what did the doctor say?
He said to come by anytime. Anytime would be fine.
So
And
now works.
Yeah. And also, it seems like he also does identification stuff.
Wow, that's
That'll be convenient. All right. And where is he?
President will tell them the address.
Regurgitate address. It's about 15 minutes away from Pigeon Forge, like in Seymour.
Okay.
Between it's about 30 minutes then, yeah. 25-30 minutes. It's in Seymour between Pigeon Forge and Knoxville.
Got it.
So it's on the way to Knoxville.
Oh, yep,
Yeah.
I see. Well, that sounds like a plan. Let's go get that accomplished then, I suppose. Probably, does somebody have somewhere we can check in with the Freehold without calling them, or without stopping by directly? With calling them, potentially.
I have Briar Rose's number.
Okay. If there's anything that we are missing, that we are forgetting that we have to do, or anything like that. And yeah, other than that, let's get our new fake lives set up.
Calling another Uber, I guess.
Yeah.
Did we get a car? Well, yep.
I since Calliope is talking, I'm gonna order the car.
So you call an Uber. You got a few minutes before it shows up, especially being out in the middle of nowhere in Williamsburg.
So Calliope will call Briar Rose.
Morning, darling.
Good morning. Quick question. Is there any common business that we need to attend to, or anything of the like? Was that just left up? Was there anything that we need to do as newer members of the Freehold.
Well, I heard from Billy Gruff that you're about to, that you got Dr. Croak's number earlier. Once you've gotten set up with him and he's gotten you your new identification and checked you all over to make sure you're healthy, that should be about it. That'll be about the end of the free ride that you'll get for getting set up. We like to make sure everybody in the freehold's got, basic identification and the ability to go around without getting attention drawn to them, because otherwise that lets the whole world know there's a whole bunch of people around here who don't, have what they need to exist the way the world wants you to. So once everybody's gotten set up with that, you should be good to go. Of course, if you need to get anything done in the freehold, there's always favors to trade.
I don't think we need to get anything. I don't think we need to get anything done just yet. Though I think there might be. I think at some point you and I need to have a conversation.
Always happy to gossip.
I'm not too sure happiness is the emotion you're going to be feeling when we get done talking.
Oh, a sob story is just as good as a happy one. But if y'all need anything else, feel free to give us a call. We're always happy to help out. You might want to try and check the goblin market at some point, see if there's anything interesting down there.
How exactly do I go about doing that? I assume there's not just an address I can drive to.
No, there is actually, funnily enough. So generally speaking, if you make your way over to the Titanic Museum over in Pigeon Forge, and you knock on one of the replica rooms 3 times. Well, no, correction. You want to knock out the shave and a haircuts theme, and then put a little glamour into the door, and it'll open up into the goblin market.
And then from there, we're on our own.
Yeah, from there, well, don't make any promises you can't keep, because they'll keep you at your word. And be careful what you offer in trade, because they will take it. But you can get a lot of interesting stuff at a goblin market. Just be careful.
And thank you. I will we'll let the rest of my motley know.
Alrighty. Have a good one.
You too. Look. So, I got some good news. Well, I guess technically bad news. After the shots and the identities and everything, that is the end of the free ride in the freehold. So,
makes sense.
I'd expect nothing less.
I do have informations on how to contact and get to a goblin market.
I'm sorry, a what?
The goblin market. Basically, she didn't describe too much of it, but we had to be careful with what we offer in trade, because they will take it. And to be very careful with our wordings.
Let's see.
And promises too, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
If the stories I've read are true.
Is this some kind of fucking labyrinth type situation?
A little bit.
Wonderful.
I mean, do we really need anything that badly to venture into a place like that?
I don't even know. But it's good that we do have that option.
I do know for a fact from Briar Rose herself that Goblin Market's a great place for people to buy and trade icons. Meaning, my memories might be at a Goblin Market.
How would you even know?
I wouldn't. Not until we go and check.
That's some tricky shit right there. I don't know.
Like if we go with the plan to go in the hedge and we find someone else's icon, then it might be a good place to go to afterwards.
Rizzian has a point.
Unfortunately, he does. I still don't want to go hedge hopping. I'm still weary of this goblin market. Just feel like I'd have to go and keep my mouth shut. But don't mind me, I'm just a bit of a nervous wreck anyway.
Sweetie, we all are in our own ways.
Well,
so we go to Dr. Croak. And then from there,
We're headed to Knoxville.
I suppose I imagine it is probably going to take a while for our new fake identities or whatever it may end up being to be created. Dear Lord, I suppose I need to choose a new name again.
you can't use Marlena.
I'm still workshopping that whole plan. I have an idea. It just depends.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be.
No, you're fine. I'm not talking about my drag name, although that will be. I will have to be delicate about that situation. I am somewhat well known.
Right.
But I have some thoughts on that.
Understood.
We're just gonna have to see how it goes. I know I'm talking about my government name.
Gotcha.
At least for legal purposes.
Of course.
That's, I assume, you probably don't even, if we can get your identification, you can probably just get it renewed if you wanted to. Clappy, you as well, if you so chose.
Oh, yeah, about that. She will open up the Cassandra Scott obituary and set it down on the table.
All right, so a new name it is then.
I don't know. I
The-
never had the chance to change to my married name, so I guess there's as good a chance as any.
There's nothing stopping me from going back to Cassandra Scott.
No.
That is true.
The thing you also realize is that the obituary you pulled up is 4 years old and probably not headlines anymore. Probably wasn't a major headline even then.
The only thing I might suggest as a potential concern, and I don't know how much of a concern this is because they won't find us, they're gonna find us. But you understand where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
Like
I
we're all
hadn't-
gonna be doing stuff that's going to potentially put us back in crosshairs, and that is what it is. Well, I don't know about you, Frizzy, and I don't know if you're gonna if you even could. But still. That is there's tap dancing the line and there is leaping full-fledged across the line, and I don't know, I'm not trying to say one doing this would be that stepping over that line, but it's just something to consider. Me true, I'm talking about potentially attracting our keepers. Yeah, I don't give a shit, but I'm already gonna have to change my name, at least legally anyway.
The lab is fine for now.
So I didn't quite come through clear.
Collab is fine for now.
Okay.
And remember, this is just in government identification. If you want to be called something different,
Absolutely.
by all means.
Government identification means exactly jack and shit.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it's not something you have to decide right now.
Right.
And so we're gonna have to decide the next couple of hours, probably.
Well, the government one, not the what you want people to call you.
Yes, absolutely, exactly. That I'm sorry, that was what I was talking about. You are correct. So yeah, and just wait for the Uber to get there, I guess.
And eventually it shows up.
All right.
So,
Alan.
you are on a ride to meet Dr. Croak. And with that, as the Uber leaves and you find yourselves all waiting on a relatively brief drive into the town of, I believe I said Seymour was the name of that
Yes,
town.
Seymour.
Into the town of Seymour. That is where we will end for the week.
Dope.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.